Hey, Konrad, thanks for joining me.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
So, Konrad, you're the CTO of Congatec, which is an important Intel partner and edge technology provider. So, first, for those who aren't kind of day to day with the edge, can you talk me through why does the edge have so many different form factors, and why does the edge need so many different use cases and requirements?
Cool. The Edge is a very diverse ecosystem. Yeah? You have different applications, different systems, different use cases, from ultra mobile handheld devices up to some kind of edge AI servers.
Ah,
And every system, every use case has its dedicated requirements and system design approaches. For these needs, we have the different form factors, standards, and modules in our portfolio.
yeah, so if you think about, can you give some examples, like you mentioned AI server, what are the types of use cases the customers are asking you for that are emerging?
For example, on one of the use cases, you can have a look on our booth. Yeah, it's also a kind of a robotic use case with an AI inference running on it for vision detection.
Yeah.
So we have a COM-HPC client module running an A-Ready VT hypervisor on it. We have 3 separate systems which are running different operating systems, different applications, and also an AI inference. So for this, you need a high performance environment, which is very good fitting to COM-HPC. If you have a handheld device, for example, to do some mobile applications, so maybe you need a COM Express Type 10. So different applications, different form factors, different products. But it's always using the same silicon and the same capabilities with the Intel Panther Lake CPU. Yeah?
Yeah, and the Intel Core Ultra Series 3, aka Panther Lake. I know the ecosystem is excited about that. I know Kongatec, I think, has 5 designs on that product. Tell me why customers find the idea of integrated AI so compelling when it comes to a platform like that.
An integrated AI feature is very nice for the customer, for the system architects. Yeah? So with this high performance AI compute die, you can avoid having dedicated accelerator cards. Yeah? So you can use the core CPU together with the integrated GPU and an MPU, which is providing up to 180 TOPS already. In one compute die. It's great. Yeah. So with this, the customers can avoid having additional components, additional cards, which is reducing the costs on one side, but it's also reducing the number of components, which makes the design more simplified. You have less power consumption, you have less heat, which makes the system and the overall application more reliable. Yeah. Which is best for the customer and the total cost of ownerships.
Of course, yeah. And so you mentioned reliability, thermals, et cetera.
Yeah.
You know, for those who aren't familiar with the edge business, obviously Kongatec has a large presence in mission critical applications like industrial and manufacturing, medical, et cetera. Can you talk about the unique needs that your customers ask Kongatec for in some of those markets? When they think about reliability, how many years?
So we have customers are asking for a longevity of runtime of more than 10 years.
Yeah.
I had last time a customer which was complaining that the product was failing after nearly 15 years of up and runtime in the desert. Yeah, with a product which was not really designed for it. So reliability for our customers on the edge is quite important. Yeah. So our products are running very stable with high reliability because we are keeping care in the design about the thermal performance. We have also a very broad ecosystem with our cooling solutions and our building blocks to optimize power consumptions. And this is something where the customers really get the benefit in the change.
Yeah. So I'm curious, this is you as a CTO. Obviously Kongatec has so many different form factors it has to support with so many different use cases. How do you think about how you optimize for that portfolio from an R&D and from an engineering perspective?
So from an engineering perspective, we have a lot of experience on the form factors, on the designs, on the product all. We have a long experience with Intel. So we know how do we make these high-speed designs, and our engineering capabilities are in the design itself, in the PCB design, in the layout. So on these high-speed interfaces and usage of these different interface categories and the inter-CPUs, with our benefit, our core competence.
Yeah, and I know you've talked to me before about the tools that Intel has, staying consistent generation over generation. It's just, it's a deep partnership we have, and thank you for that. So I have a curious question. This is a little bit of a quiz. You can think about it for a moment if you need. if you were to predict the emerging AI use case at the edge that's going to take advantage of integrated AI, what's your prediction for what market is going to take off fastest with integrated AI for something like Core Ultra Series 3?
I think the vision-based AI and inference on some physical AI use cases outside in the edge, especially in smart grids and smart meter environments and critical infrastructures, to detect anomalies. Also in energy creation, in wind turbines and so on. You can use a lot of edge AI applications to protect birds for going into rotors of windmills and so on.
Yeah.
So there are different use cases where you can really use it, and our customers are working on it. Yeah. So we have customers using Intel-based products. So using your toolkits, especially also an OpenVINO toolkit or for real-time applications optimizations. We are qualifying your tools with our products, our platforms, since several years. So the customers can rely on it. It's plug and play. It's working.
Yeah.
It's qualified and tested. So it helps them to use it and to test it and to run it quite fast.
So I know you just mentioned, I'm curious, you mentioned the customer that was upset with you about 15 years plus of continuous run in the desert. You mentioned wind turbines as an example. Can you talk about congatec's differentiation when it comes to ruggedization, extended temperature, et cetera, which I know we have support for in the new platforms?
Mm-hmm. So we are qualifying our products, of course, in the temperature range, embedded temperature range, which are mainly driven by the CPU on the products. But we are qualifying them a little bit up and down. Yeah. And of course, we are optimizing our cooling connection, our cooling portfolio. We are doing thermal simulations on it and optimizing it to reduce the power consumption, heat dissipation. And this is helping the customers to getting better reliability. Also, the component selection is quite important. And here we use our experience of over 20 years of high-speed designs and model designs in the industrial environments and harsh environments where the customers can really benefit from it. And of course, for some designs, we're using a PCAM2, where you can have a good connections or on solid modules, all solid memory, where you have a good connections from the board to the cooling, which is reducing the heat as well, and increasing the lifetime of it.
Makes sense. Yeah, I have a funny. I tell this story sometimes. I'm from the U.S. Obviously, you're from Germany.
I am not from the U.S.
Yeah. So we talk about extended temperature ranges sometimes, and people ask, "Well, what are the temperature ranges?" And I go, -40 to 95. And they go, "What do you mean? It goes to above 95 degrees in Phoenix, Arizona, as an example." And I say, "No, -40 C to 95 C." So can you talk about as customers think about like some of the craziest environments you've seen congatec with Intel deployed in? Like what are the most memorable things that you've seen?
We have seen things where customers are going to the aerospace. Yeah. So where we have sometimes planes quite high in the sky or the ground, in all different areas from desert to Alaska. Yeah.
The stratosphere to the mesosphere.
And we have also sometimes quite harsh environments in the industry, in production sites. So when you go to Asia, with a very high temperature level and big humidity values, so it's also quite difficult for the electronics to operate for a long period without any disruptions. Yeah. These are quite good requirements.
Pretty amazing, the idea that you could put that much processing power literally almost in space and sometimes actually in space.
Sometimes it's in space.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah. So as you think about, you mentioned before something like manufacturing and industrial, and then you also talked about the need for hypervisors and things of running multiple applications. Can you talk a little bit about things like legacy applications in industrial environments? Just describe a little bit of how you think about, why are they running 3 different OSs? That doesn't make sense to a PC, for example.
Why is they running 3 different OSs on one system?
Yeah, on one system. Why?
It's an example of workload consolidation. You can have 3 systems, but it's not so easy to deploy 3 systems, to maintain 3 systems. The costs are 3 times the same. Yeah. If you can consolidate it on one system, you have a lot of benefits. Yeah. Return of invest, easier to handle, and easier to maintain.
Yeah. And I know congatec's a huge part of our industrial workload consolidation. I know it's been very successful. I think that, future products like the Intel Core Series 2 that we just launched, aka part of the Lake 12C, and then also our Intel Core Ultra Series 3 Panther Lake is going to have a big play in terms of industrial with real-time determinism, et cetera. So with that, Konrad, hey, thanks for joining me today. Great conversations. Always appreciate your partnership. So.
Nice to see you again. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.